The turning point. Lisa stood in the middle of the kitchen, staring at the phone on the counter as if it were a snake ready to strike. The world around her blurred. The noise of the TV in the background and the soft hum of the fridge were drowned out by the ringing in her ears. The voice of Dr. Moreno echoed in her head, even though the call had ended minutes ago. "There's been a heart attack. He's stable, but you should come to the hospital immediately." Her husband, David, her rock, her partner for 15 years, was lying in a hospital bed fighting for his life. It didn't seem real. David was the strong one, the one who made sure their lawn was immaculate, who played catch with their son Ethan every Saturday, and who could fix just about anything with duct tape and determination. She felt her legs buckle beneath her, and she collapsed into a chair. Her chest tightened, not just from the thought of losing him, but from the guilt clawing at her insides. How many times had she nagged him about his health? "David, you can't eat pizza for breakfast. That's not a food group. You really should get a checkup. You're not 25 anymore. Maybe skip the third beer tonight." He always laughed it off, patting his slight beer belly with pride. "I'm fine, Lisa. Besides, life's too short to eat kale." Now, as she grabbed her keys and rushed out the door, her thoughts spiraled. What if it was too short? What if his stubbornness had finally caught up with him? At the hospital, Lisa sat beside David's bed. His face was pale, his usual boyish charm dulled by exhaustion. Machines beeped softly around them, the sterile smell of antiseptic filling the room. David's eyes fluttered open, and he gave her a weak smile. "Hey, babe," he rasped. Her relief was immediate, but it was quickly followed by anger. "Don't hey, babe me," she hissed, tears streaming down her face. "You scared the life out of me, David." "What were you thinking, living off burgers and fries like you're invincible?" He chuckled softly, though it turned into a grimace. "Guess I'm not as invincible as I thought." Lisa rolled her eyes, but squeezed his hand tightly. "You're going to be okay, but things are going to change around here. No more greasy takeout, no more skipping doctor's appointments. I'm putting you on a health plan, and you're sticking to it." David groaned dramatically. "Oh no, not the health plan. Does it involve kale?" "Yes." "Lots of kale," she said firmly, though a small smile tugged at her lips. "And yoga." His eyes widened in mock horror. "Lisa, you wouldn't." "Oh, I would." David's recovery wasn't just a physical journey. It became a transformation for both of them. Lisa's determination to save her husband meant overhauling their entire lifestyle. The kitchen pantry, once a shrine to chips, cookies, and instant noodles, was now stocked with quinoa, almond butter, and organic everything. The first morning after David came home, he sat at the kitchen table, staring at a bowl of oatmeal topped with fresh fruit. "What's this?" he asked, poking at it with his spoon. "It's breakfast," Lisa replied, sipping her green smoothie. "It looks like something Ethan's Play-Doh set threw up." Lisa shot him a glare. "It's heart-healthy. Eat it." David took a tentative bite and made a face. "Tastes like cardboard." "Cardboard that'll keep you alive," she shot back. Despite his complaints, David followed her lead. He joined her on morning walks, grudgingly attended a beginner's yoga class, where he promptly fell over during downward dog, and even started packing salads for lunch. But it wasn't just about the food or the exercise. Lisa realized that their lives had been running on autopilot for years. Work, school pickups, errands. It all blurred together. They rarely paused to appreciate the little things. David's scare forced them to slow down and truly connect. One Saturday, as they sat on the porch watching Ethan play in the yard, David reached for her hand. "I'm sorry," he said softly. Lisa turned to him, surprised. "For what?" "For not listening, for making jokes about it, for putting you through that." Tears welled up in her eyes. I'm just glad you're here." They sat in silence for a while, the chirping of crickets filling the warm evening air. Then David spoke again. "You know, I think I'm starting to like kale." Lisa burst out laughing, the sound ringing through the yard. "Don't lie to me, David." "Okay, fine, I tolerate kale," he amended, grinning. "But I'll eat a truckload of it if it means more Saturdays like this." Of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were days when David grumbled about his new lifestyle, days when Lisa felt overwhelmed trying to balance it all, and moments when they both felt the weight of what they'd been through. But those moments were fleeting compared to the joy they rediscovered in each other and their family. One particularly memorable day, Lisa convinced David to join her for a community 5K run. "We're walking, right?" he asked as they pinned on their race bibs. "We'll see," she teased. Halfway through the course, David's competitive spirit kicked in. "I'm not letting you beat me," he declared, breaking into a jog. Lisa laughed, chasing after him. "Don't overdo it, old man." They crossed the finish line together, breathless and laughing, their son cheering wildly from the sidelines. A year later, David was healthier than he'd been in years. He'd lost weight, his cholesterol levels were normal, and he had more energy to keep up with Ethan's endless demands for backyard baseball games. Lisa, too, felt stronger, not just physically, but emotionally. The scare had taught her the importance of cherishing every moment, of not taking their time together for granted. On their anniversary, David surprised her with a handwritten letter. "Lisa," it began, "you saved my life. Not just with the kale and the yoga and the 5Ks, but with your love, your determination, and your refusal to give up on me. I don't say it enough, but you're my everything. Thank you for giving me a second chance." Lisa's heart swelled as she read his words. She looked up at him, tears streaming down her face. "You're not getting out of yoga tomorrow," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. David laughed, pulling her into his arms. "Wouldn't dream of it." Their journey wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, and in the end, that was all that mattered. Together, they had faced fear, fought for their future, and come out stronger on the other side, with a side of kale. Months later, David decided to take things a step further. He signed up for a cooking class, much to Lisa's surprise. "I figured if I'm eating this healthy stuff, I might as well learn to make it taste better," he explained with a sheepish grin. Lisa joined him for the first class, where they learned how to make quinoa stuffed bell peppers. David's initial skepticism gave way to genuine enthusiasm as he chopped, sautéed, and seasoned. "This is actually kind of fun," he admitted as they plated their dish. "Told you," Lisa said, stealing a bite. "And look at you, Mr. Gourmet Chef." By the end of the course, David had mastered a handful of new recipes, and their kitchen became a hub of experimentation. Ethan joined in too, proudly declaring himself the official taste tester. Their newfound bond extended beyond the kitchen. They began volunteering together at a local community garden, where David discovered a surprising green thumb. Watching their hard work bloom into rows of fresh produce became another reminder of how much their lives had changed and how much they had grown together. Every time David looked at Lisa, he felt a deep gratitude he could hardly put into words. She hadn't just helped him recover. She had reignited a spark in their relationship and their family. And as they sat together one evening, watching Ethan chase fireflies in the yard, David reached for her hand. "Thank you," he said softly. Lisa looked at him, her heart full. "For what?" "For giving me a second chance. At life, at love, at all of this." She smiled,